Good morning, everyone, and happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. Thank you for joining us here today for this important announcement. As the Minister of Education, I've always been committed to ensuring Alberta students are learning from the best curriculum possible. In today's changing world, it is essential that we update Alberta's decades-old curriculum to give students a stronger foundation for a successful future in the classroom and beyond. Move this down just a wee bit. This is why I'm providing an update on the release of the final curriculum in 3 more kindergarten to grade 6 subjects, and the supports and resources available to help teachers as they prepare for new curriculum in the classroom this fall. Pardon me. So since first releasing the draft curriculum in March of 2021, we have been listening carefully to all feedback from classroom piloting, teachers, and engagement with Albertans, including Francophone education partners and their communities. Last May, I announced that school authorities would have the option to pilot updated draft K-6 French First Language and Literature, French Immersion, Language Arts and Literature, and Science curriculum in the 22-23 school year. I'm so pleased that more than 940 teachers piloted this content, with 22,000 students in 47 school authorities, including all 4 Metro school boards and all 4 Francophone school authorities. The feedback we received through classroom piloting and the public survey indicated that 2022 revisions were well received and identified many strengths in the revised drafts. We used this valuable feedback to make final updates to the kindergarten to grade 6 curriculum in these 3 subject areas. This coming school year, we are continuing to take a balanced and measured approach to curriculum implementation, and based on advice from the Curriculum Implementation Advisory Group and what we've heard from the education system, we are phasing in the curriculum. So starting in September of 2023, kindergarten to grade 3 students will be learning from these 3 new subject areas. So school authorities will also have the option to implement new curriculum in these 3 subject areas for grades 4 to 6, or wait until the 24-25 school year. And as we announced last April, all kindergarten to grade 6 students will also be learning from the new English Language Arts and Literature, as well as the mathematics curriculums when the 23-24 school year begins. As promised, we have been revising curriculum content to reflect all the feedback we have received throughout the development process. And in response to feedback on the original draft, we made changes across all 3 K-6 subjects to address content load, age appropriateness, and wording clarity. So some of these changes include strengthening French First Language and Literature content by adding spelling rules and specifying which types of texts are studied in each grade. Enhancing French Immersion language and literature content to align with the principles of learning and additional language and developing students' creative writing skills. And strengthening science content to promote understanding of agricultural practices in Alberta and aligning with previously implemented subjects. The new curriculum also aligns with top-performing jurisdictions in Canada and globally, and with new curriculum previously implemented across the province. We are committed to ensuring the curriculum implementation process is as successful and practical as possible for elementary teachers this September. And that is why, like last year, we are providing comprehensive supports to help teachers as they prepare to introduce new curriculum in September. So we've allocated $211 million over 3 years to continue a successful implementation process. And for the 23-24 school year, we are investing $47 million in teacher professional learning, as well as teaching resources. So this includes funding for school authorities as follows: $45 on a per student basis to purchase additional curriculum resources to support implementation, and $800 on a per teacher basis to support professional learning. Our education partners and teachers have told us how important it is to have quality learning and teaching resources available to support curriculum as it comes to life in the classroom. and my department has been working extremely hard to make these resources available and accessible to teachers. And as part of the $47 million investment, Alberta Education is working with the province's 4 largest school authorities to develop science resources. This collaboration will ensure resources are accessible to all school authorities to support student learning and the successful implementation of a new K-6 science curriculum. And right now, teachers can already access a wide variety of new resources aligned to the new curriculum, in addition to existing resources on new.learnalberta.ca. So, for example, there are videos and support documents with an overview and orientation to the new curriculum, and tools that support teacher planning, collaborating, and sharing, bridging from one grade to the next, and so much more. And Alberta Education will also be sharing information about flexible professional learning opportunities to support teachers as they prepare for the upcoming school year. So school authorities know what works best for their individual schools and their teachers, and they may also offer additional professional learning experiences to support their teachers. So together, these offerings will help teachers and school leaders prepare for successful implementation in September and throughout the whole school year. And more information will be shared directly with school authority leaders in the coming days and weeks. Alberta's students deserve to be learning from the best curriculum possible. And moving forward with curriculum renewal is essential to help them prepare for a rapidly changing labour market. So this coming year, more than 240,000 students will have the opportunity to learn from a new, knowledge-rich curriculum that aligns with leading jurisdictions. And I thank you all for coming and happy to answer your questions.
Thank you so much, Minister. We'll now go to media questions. We'll start in the room today and then move to the phone lines. As a reminder, of course, media can ask one question today and one follow-up. Janet, please go ahead with the first question.
Thanks for singling me out. Can you give us an update, please, on social studies and fine arts? What is the timeline for when we might actually see new drafts of those and when it might be tested in classrooms?
Sure, thanks, Janet. Great question. And everyone will have known that we did receive a large volume of feedback on the fine arts and social studies subjects. And particularly in social studies, we did go back to the scope and sequence, or a new blueprint, which we made available. A new draft was made available. We have just finished the engagement process. I believe we ended here the end of February on engaging on that blueprint. And so we are taking all of that feedback, as we said we would do, and reformatting it and relooking at it and working with it. And so in subsequent years, I anticipate that there will be further drafts of both fine arts and social studies that will be released.
So no firm timeline for that?
No firm timeline at this point.
So you mentioned obviously you've got K-3 math and English in mandatory in classrooms now, K-6 phys ed and wellness. We've heard from some teachers and parents, though, that it is not going that smoothly, that teachers are having trouble finding resources. We've heard tales of, one copy of a resource per school that they can't photocopy. I've heard parents say that they have to send their kid to tutoring because a 7-year-old doesn't understand how to count to 1,000,000. Why would you introduce so many other subjects at once and then expand to so many grades so quickly if people are saying that the existing program isn't running smoothly?
Well, and that's not actually what we've been hearing as the department. I met with every single school division across this province and actually met with the Francophone authorities yesterday, in addition to all the other meetings I've had. And that is not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing, in fact, that they had 3 areas of concern, one being transportation, the other being mental health and wellness, and the other being capital. And we've addressed all 3 of those in this current budget as well as in the next upcoming 23-24 school year budget. We do have a large engagement process with the teachers that we're piloting this particular year for the science and the 2 French language subjects. And we continually to offer more opportunities for resources, professional development. We've been working closely with the College of Alberta School Superintendents as well to make sure that school authorities have the resources and supports they need. We've added funding to make sure that that indeed is successful. And I'll just remind everybody, it's $211 million over the next 3 years, $47 million in this upcoming year, $59 from the previous year. So my understanding is that it is going quite well. I'm sure that there are, on occasion, areas where it could be improved, and we continually look to improve that.
Great. Thank you so much, Minister, and thank you, Janet. We'll move to the next question. Saif, would you like to ask a question?
Minister, just wondering if you have been seeing any, road bumps, any hiccups with implementing the curriculum for those subjects that Janet remembered off the top of her head, but I can't.
Well, you know what, and in fact, the English language arts and the mathematics, we had kindergarten to grade 3 implemented, and the kindergarten to grade 6 science. Now, this upcoming year, it will be kindergarten to grade 3, kindergarten to grade 6 phys ed and wellness is what we did implement. Coming up in this current year, we have kindergarten to grade 3 science, and then kindergarten to grade 3 French immersion, and kindergarten to grade 3 French first language. Now, what I have heard, I've actually interacted with a few teachers that have gone above and beyond and have implemented the English language arts and mathematics for the upper grades, the grade 4 to 6, even though it wasn't required, it was optional, and I've heard very, very good reports from them. So are there bumps along the way? I have not heard directly, as I said earlier, from school authorities that there are any significant issues. They continue to work with curriculum. The one area where I would say we're looking to address was they wanted the curriculum, the new curriculum, in the hands of teachers sooner. And last year we were able to put it out in April. That's why we wanted to get it out in March this year. So they have that additional time to work with it.
And is there any more, I'm not sure, was there any additional funding announced in the budget to help with the curriculum rollout? Any places where, you were hitting some bumps?
Well, as I said, we weren't hitting any bumps that I'm aware of. In fact, some school authorities have asked if they can profile some of the dollars that weren't spent in the previous year into the next year for curriculum implementation. I'm happy to oblige with that, certainly because we want all the dollars going for curriculum implementation to be used for curriculum implementation. So I haven't heard that, so we'll continue to monitor. If there's an area of further need, we will absolutely make sure that we address it.
Thanks so much, Minister. We'll take one more question in the room.
I think I'm good.
All right, we'll move to the phone lines now. Operator, are there any questions on the lines?
There are no questions on the line currently.
All right. Would anyone else like to take one more question here in the room?
I would take another one about coding. So we heard, and it was too bad that he was speaking on background, but we asked Andre about like how the sequence of like teaching about coding is like teaching little kids like how do you write a set of instructions, and the instructions have to be in order, and then they kind of meander into like, oh, we're going to debug the instructions. So where does all the coding material come from? He described it as really cutting edge or innovative. So how did you figure out how to teach little kids how to code?
Well, you know what? You don't want me doing that because that is not my job as Minister of Education. I want to make sure that the people in the department that are actually writing curriculum are the ones that have that expertise. And so they've connected with many science teachers. And the one thing that we did hear from post-secondaries was that there are gaps in our student learning because the science curriculum is from 1996. And I don't know about you, but I remember, what technology was like in 1996 to where we are now. We're light years ahead. So our students need to be set up for success, and so they need that coding. I had the opportunity to be part of the robotics. There are a couple of robotics competitions over the last little while, and the amount of information and knowledge that our young people have and need in the future is quite extensive. So they've been working with experts in those areas. They continue to work with teachers that are on the ground, science teachers in upper grades, so that they can inform what is required in the earlier grades. They've worked with top performing jurisdictions around the world and in Canada to make sure that our curriculum does align and does set up our students for success.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Minister. We are going to move to the phones now. Operator, can you please put through the first question?
Thank you. Tim Brooke, CTV.
Hey, do you got me?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I was hitting the wrong button to get in the question queue. The release mentions some changes or some updated, resources as far as agriculture and energy education goes. I'm just wondering, Minister, can you walk us through what those two subjects will look like and which Albertan students will be receiving that new information?
So, as I said earlier, we have had roughly about 22,000 students across the province, 974 teachers interacting, piloting the science and the two French language subjects through this past year. Kindergarten to grade 3 will be implementing the new science program in September, so it's only kindergarten to grade 3. We heard very loud and clear from the system and from the curriculum implementation advisory group that we needed a phased approach, and so that's what we are continuing to follow. And the two French language as well subjects, the French immersion and the French first language, will also be kindergarten to grade 3 implementation, obviously voluntary for the grades 4 to 6. On what the students will actually be learning, that will all be available online today, and so you can go and have a look. There's several hundred pages for all of the subjects, and so to get into the details, but it certainly is updated in terms of coding, in science, algorithms, computational science. There's a number of areas. Agriculture, as you indicated, was severely lacking, and so those areas have been strengthened. And we've heard from the system and from individuals across the province that these were something that they wanted to see, particularly teachers. Teachers were very engaged through the piloting, but even before the piloting, they were engaged on making refinements to the curriculum. And so we took all of that feedback and incorporated it into the new curriculum.
Thanks so much, Minister. Tim, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, sorry, maybe my question wasn't ultra clear. I'm just wondering if you can elaborate on what kind of changes we'll be seeing to education, specifically on agriculture and on energy. We talk so much about how old the old curriculum was. Obviously, agriculture and energy have changed a lot. Our understanding of those two subjects has changed a lot. So can you maybe get into specific details on how that's being updated to fit the 2023 students, if you will?
Well, the content itself is updated, as well as the technology that surrounds the content. So it is being formulated in an age-appropriate manner throughout the curriculum. And I would just refer you to the actual document, because you will see how that has progressed throughout the years. We can also connect you with my department that can get into the nuts and bolts and the details of those specifics. But I'm here to announce the overall that we have now an updated curriculum. And as I said, in science in particular, the curriculum was last updated in 1996, which is a long time ago. The two French language, French immersion and the French first language, were last updated in 1998.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Minister. We've taken all the questions on the phones. We'll move to our final question in the room today. If you can identify yourself and the outlet, please go ahead.
It's Amanda with CTV Edmonton. Minister, can you just speak to sort of, and I know in the briefing this morning we did speak about some of the other school divisions, whether in Canada or other countries that were sort of consulted, looked at. So how is this new curriculum going to, where's Alberta going to stack up, I guess, compared to other jurisdictions across our country and some of these ones that were looked at?
Well, obviously, we want it to be the highest performing jurisdiction that others will look at. I know that in English language arts that we rolled out last year, in particular, we are being looked at by other jurisdictions in other countries. And so I want that very same analysis to be seen across Canada and around the world. We want our students to benefit from the absolute best curriculum possible. I'm a mother of 7, a grandmother of soon-to-be 8, and I really want to see our children being set up for every success, but every possibility that they can have out there. And right now, when they're learning science from a 1996 curriculum, pre everyone having a cell phone, pre all of the technology that has advanced over those years, I believe they're at a disservice, and so we need to ensure that we continually renew curriculum. I don't think we should ever be in a position like we are right now where our children are learning from decades-old curriculum and having to do a major overhaul. It should be an ongoing renewal process.
Wonderful.
Answered my follow-up, so perfect,
So,
thank you.
and I really believe that moving forward, we will not be in this position where it becomes decades old. It should never be that way. Yep.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Minister. Thanks, everyone, for your participation.
Thank you.